behind. They're all fired up. What we got to do? First place, our defense has got to go out there and take the ball. Then when we get the ball, we got to have 11 people that's going to do their job and try to score every time you get the football. If we do that, we'll be all right. Do that, we'll be all right.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Football University with me, Matt Cadell, former Alabama wide receiver, and we got an action-packed show tonight. Obviously, we're going to do the recap of the Alabama-UT game. We're going to talk Jalen, Hurts, Tua, bye week, things Bama needs to improve on. And, yes, we got a special dedication to one of my old teammates, Ray Hudson, the legendary Ray Hudson, who had an interesting CTS interview with the internet sensation Stingray, everybody. And that will be at the end of the show. So stay tuned, stay on. But yes, we're going to talk anything from Bama, Tennessee, the bye week, the tales of two halves. I mean, we're going to discuss anything and everything football because that's what we do here at Football University. So shouts out to the student section. And always, we find ways to bring it to Alabama. So, yes, we're going to talk SEC news as well as college football news, some things going on around the college football world. So let's go back and let's get rocking and rolling with Alabama with our first topic. If you got them. I mean, Alabama versus Tennessee, down there. It was a tale of two halves between the two. The first half, like all of us, we were looking shaky. I think they exceptional first half. I mean, they looked like they were two steps ahead. I mean, defensively, from what Josh Heupel, Milton, they like the electric crowd down there in Tuscaloosa. Obviously, the third Saturday in something down here in Tuscaloosa and in Knoxville. But listen, yeah, Tennessee came out right. I believe it was like 5 for 5. I mean, they were destroying us with the quarterback. The comeback routes they were getting us. And they were just the receiver. They were just hitting, and they jumped up to a 13-0. And now all the Alabama fans was like, "What is going on?" But I had to make the adjustments and do what they had to do to win the game. Tennessee jumped up, 13-0. The first with hold on, somebody's saying the sound. Everybody okay? Can you hear me now? Everybody good? Okay, that first touchdown with Milton to Squirrel. I mean, even Milton did that was kind of crazy. So, it was pretty interesting to see. I think they got the tie. Alabama comes out, scores. scores makes it 13-6, I believe. 13, and then, but yeah, yeah. Somebody says I keep going in and out. What about now? Am I still going in and out? Can y'all hear me? Is it still good? Still skipping? Let me know in the student section if I'm still skipping. Yeah, thank you, Justin Summerlin. Okay. Okay, hold on 2 seconds. Let me figure something out. Hold on 2 seconds. Let me Let me bam. Hold on 2 seconds, everybody. 2 seconds. Is it still choppy? Testing 1, 2, 3. Still choppy. Okay, what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a pause. Oh no. Okay, good. Okay, good. Woo! Shouts out to the student section. Y'all are what make it rocking there. Hopefully we address the choppiness, technical issues. It's probably 10 years, crying, messing up my signal right now. But yeah, 13-7, we came back, scored, and it still seemed like they had us with like 2 minutes left going into the half. I thought we were going to stop them. But yeah, the title get a good victory, but it's still doing it. Hold on. What we're gonna do? We're gonna take a pause and we're gonna come back to this issue. I don't know why it's choppy. Let's see, ball fans acting all crazy. Ball fans, that's what it is. It's all the crying ball fans. So yeah, the Vols were up at half 7, and everybody, we're just gonna fight through it. We're just gonna endure, persevere. All fans were just riding high at halftime. Just like I wasn't panicking, but but yeah, I think we changed from a odd man front to an even front. That way wins on receivers. We came out second half. A lot of fans were complaining. Tommy Reese didn't open up the offense. Kevin Steele is 2 plays behind when it regards to the official at the Tennessee offensive coordinator. So I think, it just shows we came out and we made the adjustments. You look at how we came out the second half. We kind of opened up the playbook. We came out there, plays. It took us 2 plays to score a touchdown. Jason, the kind of spring us. I think it was like a 20-yarder, and then next we go in motion, and then we hit Isaiah Bond to kind of get us back in the game. And after that, it was. Let's take a pause right there before I get into the rest of the game. So that's the reason for the technical difficulty. It's the Vol fans crying over our electronic, making us skip. Oh, and the Vol, the refs, and can we address this? Let's address the elephant in the rooms for all the Vol fans out there. Listen, Alabama went to Neyland Stadium last year, and we had 17 penalties, and still lost by 3. The rest, it is what it is. So referees had nothing to do with 27 unanswered points. points or getting stopped on 4th and 1 or the change in play. So I mean, I get it. I think that's kind of a low way to kind of go out when you're a SEC program. No game's going to be Bama. With Alabama fans could have said it was the ref's fault last year, which it was. The Kool-Aid picked the ball off, and Kool-Aid's running past the 50, and then that's some sketchiness. But I feel like Vol fans, that was just an easy cop out. You got to complain. You lost. You got your butts kicked in the second half. But yeah, I got to say that. So Stephen Hicks had a great comment. I said, I stubbed my toe today. Yeah, Vols fans have been crying all weekend regarding the referees, regarding the officiating. But I still don't think that had any effect on some of the 7 points. I feel like your defense did not stop our Alabama offense. And, it is what it is. Speaking of our Alabama defense, got to shout out Kevin Steele. The way he came out the second half, I said Alabama's magic number needs to be 34. We got 34 with the help from Jahai Campbell. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Still needs to get to that 34, 35 mark to move forward, especially with you. But shouts out to the defense. I'm going to start with Kevin Steele. The way halftime, the way he came out, he was able to shut down Tennessee's offense to score in the second half. That goes to his great pedigree. Is making them even without Terry Arnold. Coach Saban said Terry Arnold had a slight concussion, came out, and so we were able to do that. Still hold those guys to Kevin Steele. And I got to shout out who's the co-SEC Defensive Player of the Week, Jahai Campbell in for 17, Trevon Marshall. And listen, he played a lights out game. What was the game sealing touchdown, final 7 points for the game. But I'm stops left and right where he played really Jahai Campbell. I think that's kind of going to be our pseudo remedy backer position with him, Deontay Lawson. Hopefully Marshall. I don't know how you can put him in over Jahai Campbell the way he's played versus Tennessee. There's just a lot of athleticism and speed, and we're going to need that. Listen, moving forward, coming for Milton, now going to Jaden Daniels. I think all that has led up to us being able to be prepared to handle Jaden Daniels. One thing we're going to have to before I get in there, let's continue to talk about Campbell, the defense. I got to give Tommy Reese credit coming out the second half. I still think Milroe can still work on pocket awareness, but when the run is run, that's what Jay Daniels does well, and I think he's getting it. I think he's just putting it all together. Wish he had some throws he could take back in the second half. Some of those third down throws in the second half that we really could have put him away. But so let's pause for a second, even though it's still loud fans. I don't know what to do. I've tried everything, but yeah, let's get in the student section. I says I have a dream, Bama noodles and dogs. Amen. RTR. Yeah. Talk. Mr. Jones says ref didn't have anything to do getting clocked in the head after a no call, but we're all right. We kept rolling. Coach Saban and the guys. There's only so certain amount of things you can control. I mean, so listen, not all the plays is going to go our way. We had the for a touchdown, and they called a blocking it back. It is what it is. You gotta, it is what it is. So, uh, six says I have seen themselves in the second half and showed them balls who owns the field. Yes, as and great comment right here. I mentioned Jahad Campbell, Dallas Turner, our front, my defense as a whole. I thought I played a really, really, really good game. But Chris Britt on the touchdown pass. This guy, as a defensive end, he's probably 250 receiver, and actually had pretty decent coverage for a defensive end. Joe Milton had to make a perfect throw, and Squirrel had to make a perfect catch. So that just shows you Chris Braswell's making a lot of money. Dallas Turner, the front four, Lawson, the secondary. Guys are making plays. So, shouts out to Chris Braswell. He's doing his thing. So, Stapleton said it's still lagging. Listen, the reason it's lagging, it's the ball fans. They're upset that they didn't do anything in the second half, so they're trying to start all this technical in the lag. So it's all their tears coming from the volunteers. Drivers may need to be updated. Yeah, drivers might need to be updated. But just give. I thought offensively, we made the adjustments we do. To finish the game, we could have finished the game with a little bit. Will Reichert being special teams player of the week. I think he had a 50-yarder, which was still think Alabama needs to get kind of, like I said, offensively, we need to score at least 5 touchdowns. I think we can do that. Reichert's going to give us at least 6 points in a game. And I think our defense is the way they get turnovers, fumbles, whatever. I think they're going to give us, high 45 plus mark or 40 range. So Mr. Jones like that volunteers. They've been crying all weekend. But listen, shouts out to Alabama. Alabama is the second when we put it together for 60 minutes for both halves. We can do that. Coach Saban said after the game, this team is good. I love this team. I love they showed that what type of dog they have in them. But he says sometimes it makes him want to pull his. But yeah, he likes the demeanor of this team. So this team, when they finally put it together for 60 minutes, I believe Greg about it regarding if Alabama puts it together for 2 halves, they're going to be a scared team. So section B. Jamin has a great comment. He says, Matt, it's hard for me to be the best defensive player. So many good ones this year. Let's try to pick our best receiver. So the tie for our best receiver, I'm going to go with Bond and Burton. I think Bond just does such a big, deep play threat. Burton, he had the touchdown catch. He had a couple plays, third downs, I think Miro needs, and I think he needs to work on pocket awareness. But while we're talking about the offense, can I shout out the offense? Caden Proctor got beat that one time, but he was able to, that really vaunted defensive line from Tennessee, kept pockets for them to come in and make plays. So I got to show the growth of Caden Proctor, the offense, Tyler Booker, J.C. Latham were the 2 highest graded offensive linemen, I believe, football in the SEC. So we got the run it needed to be rolling. Jason McClellan was there. Continue to fill the game, and I think all that's coming. So I still think Reese and Milroy need to continue to come along. I think chemistry. I think Reese is getting his chemistry a better feel for the game, what team situations, plays. So I think it's coming. Put it all together this bye week, get some much needed rest, and put it together before we play down there at LSU. So let's stay in the section. So let's finish this comment by B. Jam. Defensive player so far, golly. I mean, you can go Tim Keenan. Tim Keenan came down. Demond Payne came in, and he really did a great job at that defense. Freddie Rose doing his thing with the defensive line, doing his thing. You can go Jaheim Otis. You can go Turner. You can go Lawson. You can go Terry Arnold. You can go Malachi. So many guys. So put in the center section who you think is our defensive player of the year. So defensive player. I mean, you can go Caleb Downs. Man, that's tough. It's hard for me to pick because we got so many good defensive players, but I want to get y'all some. Oh man, I think it was a couple times Kool-Aid, and we've addressed this here at Football University. I just want him to fair catch a lot of those punts. That way, we won't continue to lose yards on field position. Just fair catch it. But yeah, I think Kool-Aid. The more catching and not use, I think the more comfortable he's going to get. That's going to help him. And when you get comfortable feeling them, catching the punts, fair catching them, then you're going to take that bad boy to the crib. So I think Kool-Aid did a much better job. His money on the island, locking down teams' best receivers. He had a viral clip after the game said he doesn't want to be called Uno. He doesn't want to be called Strap. So I think we're gonna have Terry Arnold LSU game and get much needed rest. So let's stay in the students jamming. Stephen Hicks says, I'm hoping this win will build our confidence knowing we can beat a team. Yeah, we're going to have to beat a team. It's all about, I said it here before, it's all about becoming 1-0 each week. This week's a bye week. And let's take a pause right to improve in the bye week. A, we need to get guys rest, healthy. B, mentioned today, the players might have a time off, but the coaches are being the lab dissecting LSU. LSU's coming off a big time victory versus we got them coming in Tuscaloosa. It's going to be a 6:45 kickoff on CBS and what's the face are going to be called. So it's going to be an interesting game. It's one of those games. Whoever Alabama's already can really beat LSU. Another revenge game for us. We lost to Tennessee last seconds, and we lost seconds. I still think things we can improve on the bye week. We're playing a guy who just runs, passes. They have one of the top offensive, explosive offense. They got a really good running game with Jay Daniels, but you got Daniels. He is the king. He's the head of the whole machine. If we give him, they're going to have design runs. We cannot let the pocket break down. He's very elusive. They got design runs. He's a better passer. They got Brian Tennyson. They got number 8 Neighbors. They got a good tight end, Jason Taylor's son. It'll be a big challenge for us. So, but I think defensively, that's what we got to be able to stop. The quarterback draw, the passes, some of the zone beaters. But I think we're going to be prepared. But the main time, we got to continue to work on fundamentals and then be prepared to handle the Tigers next week. So let's stay in this getting rolling. Mr. Jones said, yeah, Kool-Aid still locked down corner, though. He might have lost because of the drops. I had hope he can rebuild it and believe. And I think Kool-Aid can rebuild his punt return, working on, fielding the punt with good technique on the field. Even if he just fair catches, I just don't want the ball. I don't want him to miss. And they fall and then they bounce, and we lose yards and field position. I just need him to see the ball off the punter's foot, get up on. Next thing you know it, Kool-Aid, you're gonna pop one of those bad boys. I can see it. I mean, he's but yeah, I think Kendrick Law, good to see him on a jet sweep. Tommy Reese using the jet sweep with Kendrick Law. Sweep. He tried to bounce it outside, but if he would have just cut beforehand, that would have been golden. But I think we need to run more jet sweeps that are more familiar with that because it's open. It's there. I mean, usually 9 times out of 10, Jalen Miro, I still think Jalen Miro can improve on the RPO game. Even when he holds it, when he keeps it or hands it off, sometimes it was one-handed it off where if he would have kept it, he would have still been running to this day. But I'll get some quick, short games. I think the quick passing game we can continue to improve on quick passing games, intermediate games. Because I think the quick passing games is going to help with the passing games. That's going to get the ball rolling. And more passes, design, move in the pocket. I think that's all going to help. And I think we're going to also put it all together versus LSU. So, but let's focus on the bottom where we are. So, Stephen Hicks says, let a running back field the kid. I think Kendrick Law would be a good backup option to him or Kobe Prentice at the punt returning position. So, roll tide and rise up. Shout out to the Falcons fans out there. Had a big victory. So, this is a really interesting football season this year. It is really interesting. Somebody said Spy Daniels. I don't even think we have the Spy. I think our front four is that good. I think they just don't have to run pass. If we know, we just got to make the adjustment when they go empty. We know they're going to design. Or we can put a spy on him in certain situations. We just can't lose contain. That's why I like having Jahai Campbell back there because he covers, but he's athletic enough to make stops on key third down. BJ. He says I missed the old Bama power running game, but I'm not sure if that's the best way to start. I'm thinking come out throwing some deep balls would be best for opening up the playbook. Listen, I think open up the versus LSU. I know we had to open up the playbook to see the second half, but I just think that's just momentum going into the LSU game. Brian Kelly has some familiarity with Tommy Reese, but Tommy in Alabama plays. Not Notre Dame plays. He's been kind of rolling Alabama play, and I think he's trying to understand Milroe and kind of incorporate, a lot more into the playbook, and I think those deep shots are there. Of our approach, I know a lot of people look at, we're trying to run the ball up the middle. Listen, we're going to run. A couple of times we were just running. We could have just ran it. We were, I believe, a carry. We were first down getting 4 yards, second down getting down what? I had a lot of third and shorts, third and mediums versus good. Those are, offensive coordinators, he lights up when you kind of get ahead of him. So I think McClellan's coming along. I think Roydell's coming along, and most importantly, our offensive line is coming along. I think they've gotten a lot more confidence going against that. I mean, they faced um, Texas A&M's defensive front, Tennessee's defensive front. So they're really good defensive front. And I think the game was leading up first LSU, you know, having to go to Texas, having to play Tennessee before we play LSU. LSU play Army. You nothing against Army, but it's not like playing an SEC team going into the game. I mean, Alabama needs to get complacent in their preparation. We need to come out ready to be firing on orders. This bye week and next week, really getting into the game time. But yeah, that could be a good option. Be jamming. So great comment by be jamming. So let's make transition real quick. Let's go to my notes. More things I wanted to talk about. Sorry. So yeah, let's talk about college football in general. That makes a good point. I would not let Jalen sit in the pocket and get comfortable and pick us apart. Great on him. I say if he's going to beat us, make him do it with his leg. Listen, I don't want. He's that effective of a period. I don't want him to beat us with his arms or his legs. That's why I think it's important. We can get pressure with four. That way we can cover there with 3 or 4 receivers in their passing game. He's really effective, I believe, for the Heisman. I mean, he's got really good Heisman odds. So we've got to be able to just beat hold when he runs it, and when he puts it in the air, we got to be able to affect him as a thing is important for our front four. This is going to be their money game. Dallas will, Jaheim Otis, Tim Keenan, Payne, Campbell, Blackshire, those guys, the secondary, Dan Terry, Malachi, Kool-Aid, Key, locked in for 60 minutes because this offensive power that they have coming in, they can do a lot of stuff. Especially when you have a mobile quarterback. This guy is he seems to know when to make the right football play. Even when the play pursue. And, he can get a little ball fumble. He can get a little bit carried away, carrying the ball loosely. We've got to be able to get turning the points, and force him to make bad decisions. So, I think we'll work week, but I don't want him to beat us. I want us to, kind of beat Jay Nance because we owe it to him. We owe it to him. We had Pete Golden last year, we're just not having the right technique, and still lost at the end. So, and put it all together with Kevin Steele leadership, knowing how to game plan this offensive scheme. And like I said, going from KJ Jefferson to big enough quarterbacks who can throw it and do a lot with their arms and legs, prepare us or propel us going into the matchup versus LSU. So let's talk about college football. Let's mainly stay in the SEC, still undefeated in the SEC West. Georgia had a bye week. They got a big game versus Florida that this week. I know Ole Miss, they played at Auburn. Auburn put up 21 points. Ole Miss victory 28-21. Arkansas, let's talk about Arkansas. Arkansas always scoring 3 points. The score was 7-3. Big news, I guess it's sort of like karma for Dan, quarterback coach at Alabama, and he just said he was going to take the Miami or Arkansas job, one of the two. I think it was Miami to work with, I think, Mike Loxley at Maryland, and now he found his way back at Arkansas as the offensive coordinator. Yeah, they Sam Pittman broke no longer the offensive coordinator, or he's been relieved of his duties. So I don't know if you want to call it karma. It is what it is, but Arkansas, Sam Pittman, a lot of people were saying, see, I mean, you got KJ Jefferson, you got a lot of pieces, but it only put up 3. State had their backup quarterback, no Will Rogers. I'm quite sure Pig Suey Nation up there in Arkansas and Fayetteville were pretty upset. But the big game of the weekend was Alabama Tennessee, the third Saturday in October, and it's one thing. Smoke was thick in Brian Denny. I mean, I love to see the players celebrating with shouts out to Miss Terry singing Disneyland Delight. I mean, you can't. It's just an atmosphere in college football in the fall. So let's go back to the student section. B. Jammin is rolling today. He says, I don't see LSU being able to run of us if we make it uncomfortable. Make bad bros just got a spy. Yeah, I think the key is not only we need to spy, we need to be able to have good leverage, not lose containment with the front four. You know, you look at how to isolate really active quarterbacks that have really good front fours. Know how to not always not let him escape the pocket. We've got to confuse him, but at the same time, we got to lock up these receivers. Brian Thomas, Anthony Anderson, Neighbors. They like to do a lot. The tight end, they like to do a lot. So it was not that bad when you incorporate Jaden Daniels, his running ability to quarterback run, Diggs in the backfield. They have a pretty effective offense, a really explosive offense. Offense when you're looking at the quarterback who can do so much with explosiveness with his arms and the legs. We're gonna have to come with it versus LSU, but we'll get SEC talk. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. Yeah. Let's talk about college football in general. The big game in the Big Ten was Ohio State picked a doozy. It was quite boring. In my opinion, it was like 3-3. It was just Ohio State. They were probably going to win the game, but Penn State, I mean, they seem like a state when it comes to the big game. But I believe the biggest news came out of up there with Jim Harbaugh. Go Big Blue Nation. Jim Harbaugh accused of cheating, using scouts on away game, stealing signals, stealing signs. I mean, a lot of teams knew about it. They beat the brakes off Michigan State. But you can tell known in the Big Ten how Jim Harbaugh, how a lot of teams say, even back to last year, they changed up their signals, their signs, these things, and a report came out today that staffer, I believe his name, had tickets to like 30 big teams. They got video footage of him coming out with the iPhones, stealing signals in the game. So, listen, I think Harbaugh repercussions for them. I mean, Michigan is playing such a cupcake schedule, top 25 team yet. So I don't know if they're going to have any playoff in it. This is going to hurt them because they're just, beating everybody badly. But I think this is going to force Jim Harbaugh to go maybe to the NFL. Maybe the Chicago Bears that are going to be looking for head coaches, and maybe he's probably going to say, listen, and I'm done with. He was suspended earlier in the year. Now this comes out. You probably say it's a witch hunt, but I'm like Michigan. You don't even have to do all these things. It's not that hard. It's pretty cupcake. I think them and Georgia probably have the two easiest what it is. But that was kind of the big story over the weekend in the Big Ten and the Buckeyes. But another big story, USC took another L to Utah. Utah kind of basically knocked Utah. We discussed Lincoln Riley, his lag on him, and Caleb Williams is just. I don't think even in his team here at USC, he's beaten Utah. So shouts out to Utah Utes. That was kind of the big college football news. Texas almost lost. It was a controversial call that the refs missed for Houston in order for them to win the game. Also, the Gus Malzahn Central Florida Knights. I mean, they had them win in Oklahoma. Javon Baker had a couple of touchdowns. The former Alabama receiver, Central Florida. But I think they went for two game or something like that, and they were expecting them to be in zone, and they were in man. And listen, Alabama, this is the part of the year where you just got to win, be 1-0, win. And I don't want Bama fans to think, oh, LSU lost to Ole Miss. They got 2 losses. That it's going to be Alabama's going to. If you know anything, you got to come prepared week in and week out, whether it's NFL ball. You got to be prepared. So Alabama's got to be 1-0 each week. LSU, the road does not get. It does not get easier. We got to be a tricky game with Leary, Stoops. Those guys are going to be ready to play. So we got to be able to, on the road and handle Kentucky. So, but right now, let's just focus on the bikes. B jamming already, shooting shots already, talking about Kirby secret cupcake recipes. I mean, they do kind of have it made. I mean, Alabama more tougher games. We played at Texas A&M. We played Texas, Tennessee. We played Arkansas. We played Ole Miss. We played so many. Let's see. Ole Miss is in the top. What? Tennessee was in the top 20. Texas in the top 10. Upper teams, as opposed to those guys down at the mean. It is what it is. But yeah. So talk about the NCAA to make transition to the NFL, and the biggest news in the NFL was Jalen versus Tua, which I think is a preview for the shouts out to the Eagles fans. Fly Eagles fly. I want to talk about how the Bowl, Jalen versus Tua. I mean, the Bama Bowl. I mean, it was Dolphins, Eagles. You couldn't beat it. I mean, you had Sunday Night Football under the light, Kelly Green uniforms, paying homage to the early Philadelphia Eagles, which I think is a really good throwback. I mean, that Kelly Green. But anyway, they interviewed Saban. Saban said he was pulling for one particular team, but he was pulling for both quarterback to have shouts out to the Eagles fans for have 2 quarterbacks that were under your program, playing at a high level. Jalen Hurts, Tua, Tua came in for the second half, 2nd and 26. We all know the story. Then the next year, Tua gets hurt in the SEC championship, and then Jalen has to come in and win. You couldn't written a better script. But listen, I still think the Dolphins and the Eagles. That's what I think is going to be in the Super Bowl. But it was like the best Alabama recruiting advice leading. I mean, not had Bradley Cooper. I mean, he did having Freebird in the background. I mean, doing the preview of the game leading up to the game, and it was just beautiful. You know, it was just good Alabama players from Eli Ricks, Devontae Smith, Julio Jones. Um, let's see. Tua, Jalen Waddle, Raekwon Davis. Who else is on that on that Philadelphia Eagles team? I mean, it was just so much Alabama. Jalen, Tua. The Eagles came out on top. I think Miami's still good. They just got to get it right defensively. I just think they've got as creative as they are. When they play really good teams on the road, they still have. But if you talk about Jalen, you talk about Tua, you got to talk about the Mac Jones. Actually, you know, he was been in a lot of hot water. You know, not about benching them. Bill O'Brien, he hasn't played the best and all that stuff, but the Buffalo Bills in the last second action, Mac threw touchdown passes to Gesicki with like 12 seconds left on the clock. You show or what they thought was the gritty, but Mac Jones had a really good bounce back game. I'm just seeing having cheer for them and for them to beat the Bills. I don't think a lot of people had that on their bingo cards. Jahmyr Gibbs scored his first touchdown versus the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, Tommy Reese out there. Go look at that Baltimore Ravens playbook. Utilize Lamar Jackson. I think that's something that you can incorporate with incorporate that type of style offensively, conceptually, principle-wise, our offense. But yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs had his first. So yeah, I mean, it was just a wild football weekend. So let's go to the student section. Knox says, who will be in the Hall of Fame first? And I guess already Jalen or Tua. Whew. It depends. You know, teams will meet in the Super Bowl, and I think it'll be a different story. I think you look the Miami Dolphins are missing so much on the secondary. I mean, but they're missing, you know, Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey, my guys, towards the playoffs, you know, towards the end, they're going to be a hot team going into the playoffs because they're going to get Jalen Howard and them back. Now, you look right now, since Jalen Hurts, I mean, he's one of the top paid quarterbacks. You might, but listen, if they're in the Super Bowl, and listen, always goes differently. You know, when it comes to playing a team in the regular season and playing for the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it can get a little interesting, but man, Super Bowl first. But right now, I might have to go with Jalen Hurts. I just think he's got a better system. I don't know if it's a better system, but he's got a unique system for I don't know who's gonna. James Knox says, hold on. He says, laugh out like I read that all wrong. I read who is in the hot seat first. And let's start in the SEC. I think the hottest seat probably, I'm guessing, is the Hall of Fame. I'm guessing right now, Sam Pittman, in the SEC, Billy Napier. You know, he's kind of been up and down, if he beats Georgia, they do have a lot of talent. Georgia doesn't have Brock Bowers. It's going to be interesting. Brock, now they got a lot of talent. The backup tight ends, they get Lab McConkey. I think he'll be his third game. So they coming off a bye week. So I think they know order, but it can be in Jacksonville that, Billy Napier from Gator fans, they're always throwing him in the hot seat. But right now, I'll say it's probably between men and Shane Beamer in the SEC regarding hot seats. Another coach, Dabo Swinney at Clemson. I think it's the way Dabo's handling the media. All those, a lot of Bama fans, the next coach. No. When Saban retires, no. Just stop that. He's handling the transfer portal, some of the statements he's making, blame the players. One thing I give credit to Coach Saban, at least he takes ownership when we have the guys prepared. You put it on me. I take the blame. Even when it goes to the national championship and Will Anderson to his right, Bryce Young to his left, and before they get up, he talked about the character, what type of players these are, these guys. But that's the complete opposite of Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney, he's offensive coordinator. He's thrown Gary Riley under the bus. He's thrown his quarterback under the bus. He's under the bus and been saying some real post press conferences is just weird. But I don't know. I don't say hot seat, but it's just real strange behavior. I say his seat's probably, especially with the downfall. Everybody has so many high expectations for Clemson in the ACC, one of the top two teams in the ACC right now. It's looking like Miami's beats looking really good. They lost to Duke. Duke had a close game, but Riley Leonard's playing at Florida State. So, listen, this is very football to be played. So, hopefully that answers your question regarding. I still think it's Sam Pittman, possibly Shane Beamer, but I think Shane. I think he's on the hot seat too because he got 2 years. He had a lot of momentum. All the hype they had in the offseason, social media, and they're nowhere near to win the East. I was behind Georgia, obviously, in the East. Georgia's on another level. They lost to Florida. He talked about how he kicked the bucket and he broke his foot. I don't know what to say about that. Answers right there. So let's do rapid fire in the student section. He says, I love to get Jalen Pruitt back as a defensive sideline coach or something. That would be nice. Show calls with the NCAA. I don't know if he's going to be. I think he has to sit out 6 years, but I don't know. I'm quite sure. Saban's from having him getting his ideas on things like that. So, but yeah, Stephen Hicks. Let's go. He said my Alabama Crimson Tide is not losing. I think it's important that Alabama be where their feet are. Right now, it's a bye week. We kind of got to get back in the lab, get restful, get focused on editing film. We need to be kind of working on our fundamental, working on our technique. We need to down all our I's dotted, our T's crossed, going kickoff versus LSU because we're going to have to come with it. Brian Kelly, so much about Alabama. In the offseason beating Alabama, he just talks about beating Alabama. And I think it's going to be another personal game for the Crimson Tide. The way fashion that they lost, looking to get some get back these guys and really solidify themselves. Going, getting in the driver's seat. Let's keep going. B. Jamin said Bama should be very healthy for LSU. I'm having to play Josh Heupel and that kind of gimmicky, having to, go against a team that plays fastball tempo. They run like 40 seconds. That just shows you how they are. So I think being able to do that play dividends for us going into James Knox. That's a great comment right here. Dabo without Venables is like a 90-year-old without iron shots fired in the student section. Yeah, I mean, listen, Dabo has not been the same without. But, he has Garrett Riley, and he's just throwing Garrett Riley under the bus. Good offensive mind. But I just don't think he has the same personnel that he had at TCU. So it'll be interesting to see. So shouts out to the student section. Listen, we got something coming up here shortly, but I gotta shout out B. Jammin says Miro running that QB option pitch sure does look good. RT James Knox, B. Jammin, Lori Cadell, Reese McDuffie, Roll Tide, Justin Sumler, Mr. Jones, Stephen Hicks, 6-0 again. Our technical issues, but hope is all volunteer fans. They just be still magistrating in the game, and that's what's causing the technical difficulties. But at the end of the game, it's see me next week, same time. It will be LSU week. We have to do to beat the those Tigers down there in Baton Rouge. But as I mentioned, dedication of the Ray Hudson interview with Stingray loves Mississippi State and those Cowbells. Please tune in. It's going to be a great addition to the late Ray Hudson, one of my old teammates. So please stay. Thank you all. See you all next week. Peace. Enjoy football university week. Enjoy football this week. I can't wait to see you all next week. Thanks. Yeah, stay tuned. It's coming up in a few seconds.